Hi all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. Well, I'm calling my video from yesterday a palate cleanser, and a nice video with uplifting, fabulous stories, because today, we're going to have to lower the bar again because there's a lot going on. Also, I've got a lot of your comments that you've been putting up on my videos. Very interesting. So let's just get in there and go, shall we? To start with, I want to make a comment about Jason Knopf. We all know about the information he was able to give the court, and we know what's going on here. But here's my thought process. I think Jason Knopf should write a book, and I think the title of it should be Recollections May Vary. That is a book I would buy. Absolutely. Okay, just had to say that. Moving on. To start with, my follower Ashley Blake pointed out that since Boozy has now been irrefutably linked to Harry and Meghan and their Archewell site, we all know that their website collects data and then they're selling it and they're making money. Could they be adding people to the petition that way? That's an interesting thought. And I think that's interesting because this follower, Lowstone, looked at Boozy's petition in the morning and found that he had lost 400 signatures, kind of like my other follower who said that she found that her name had been added, but she's not the one who signed it. Yeah, it could be that people are figuring out they've been added without their permission and they're removing their signatures. Interesting thought. All right, moving on. I hope I'm saying this right. My follower, Stephanie Canuck, read on Quora that a textbook being sold by Amazon states that Meghan has her British citizenship and she reports to being half white, half black, and essentially she's rewriting history. Is this true? And with that being said, I found the book. It is being sold on Amazon, but in order for me to double check what's being said, I would need to buy the book. It's $130 something, or I could spend $100 and rent the book. I'm going to assume that you are correct. And they are trying to rewrite history. All right, moving on. In the video that I posted where I said Harry really just isn't that great of a catch with all of his mental and psychological problems, people pointed out that I forgot to mention he has a drug problem and also that he's abusive to polo ponies. And that's what DMN looks for in a guy. You're absolutely right. Linda Chapman, you made me spit my coffee out when I read this. Has reminds me of the movie Twins because William got all the good bits and Has is the crap that's left over, just like from the movie. I completely agree. All right, now the first story we're really going to look at today is Spotify. Now, I've told you all before that mostly these companies don't hand these people $30 million. You don't get paid unless you produce content. But I'm sorry to say, I am beginning to think that Spotify did hand them all the money up front, which is why they have not been fired from Spotify. Spotify wants to get their money's worth. Can you imagine? They instead of giving the money to the artists that are uploading music and that have been faithful to Spotify for years, they handed these to $30 million to produce podcasts, and in over a year they produced one which didn't do well. That's why Spotify is not firing them. And so it's being reported that Spotify has now taken Harry and Meghan's podcast into their own hands, and they've hired the people, put out the ads, that I showed you guys the other day for people, and they're going to produce these podcasts, and they're going to make Harry and Meghan live up to that contract because they want their money's worth. That's why they haven't been fired. I think Spotify was stupid to just hand them the money, but, there you go. A big shout out to Lady Skylar for bringing this to my attention. Essentially, if you suck at acting and no one wants to hire you, you just create your own studio and hire yourself. And that would appear to be what Harry and Meghan are now doing. Yes, the two of them have added more entertainment companies to their list of companies in Tax Haven, Delaware. One of them is named Cloverdale, which is the street that Meghan grew up on. I have to assume that she really wanted to go back into acting and nobody would touch her with a 10-foot pole. So they're going to do their own studio. They're going to hire their own people. They're going to produce their own stuff. Just like Will Smith does with his wife. I don't see that going any better than anything else that they've done. All right, next up. They did a poll on if Harry and Meghan should go back to the UK for Prince Philip's memorial. I don't yet have the results of that poll, but I'm willing to bet that the poll says they should not. So the two of them have supposedly been advised to skip the memorial and just send a video message. With that, the royal family can review the video message, make sure it's appropriate, number one. Number two, they can decide whether they want to air it or not. They could get the message, doesn't mean they're going to air it. Number three, Harry and Meghan won't have to worry about security. You know what I mean? It's probably just easier that way. I don't think they should return. All right, moving on. All right, we already know this, but there's articles coming out now that Meghan's fan base is a problem. Gee, you think? I mean, they're just like off balance. They're threatening people. They're calling people's jobs. They're trying to get them fired. They're ruining their livelihoods. They're sending death threats. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys remember Jack Royston, the guy that worked for Newsweek, who pulled his article? He redacted his article and took Taz out of it. Anyway, he and this other guy, I don't know who it was, spoke with Christopher Boozy on an episode of The Royal Reporter, at which time Mr. Boozy called for the government to get involved with the hate speech online. The government. I believe that's called censorship. Now, with that in mind, Mr. Boozy, when asked why he doesn't run reports on the hate accounts against the royal family, said that there weren't enough of them to make it worth his while. What? As I showed you several days ago, all the hate tweets that were up, I have since found a few more for your enjoyment. Here you go. Once again, bad use of language, bad spelling, death threats. This one that you're looking at now, Amanda, Boozy came to her defense. Yes, he came to her defense online. These people are just so unbalanced and crazy enough to be severely dangerous to the royal family. And of course, we all know now that the sugars are being paid by Sunshine Sachs, which is linked to Mr. Boozy, which is linked back to Harry and Meghan. Mark Fu, my funnier, wrote that when anybody else accuses Mr. Boozy of his hateful statements, we all show our receipts. But yet Mr. Boozy can't. Yes, I do show my receipts, unlike other people who make baseless allegations and say they have the receipts but never show them. And a big thank you to Lulu LA for once again showing that what I reported was correct. People were saying that there is no proof that Elizabeth Thorpe, the vice president of Sunshine Sachs in Washington, was linked to Mr. Boozy and was linked to Harry and Meghan. Yeah, here we go. Exactly what I said. Meghan wants to do the international superstar thing, not the community center opening on a wet Wednesday in Stokes-on-Trent. She wants to sell the Duke and Duchess merchandise on QVC, kind of like the Kardashians. And with that being said, let's not forget that she took a private plane and she was seen at the home of the man that's part of Gunthy Ranker, who does sell merchandise on QVC. All right, now we're going to look at a blind item that we all know is usually pretty spot on. And basically what it says is Harry basically implied that the United States is now covering the cost of his security and providing Secret Service. And that's what he wants when he goes elsewhere. I know for a fact I wrote in asking to know if the United States was funding his security. I got no response. A lot of people wrote in and got no response. And I wish I'd screenshotted. I did not. But there is another person who said, because I saw it on Twitter and I believe them, that they are using the Freedom of Information Act and have filed with an attorney in court to find out if the USA is funding security for those two. They're not representing the royal family. They're private citizens now. And I, for one, will be very upset if I find out my taxes are going for that when we have so many people homeless and hungry due to COVID. All right, this article just confirms what I told you guys the other day, that William and Catherine are coming to the United States during the year of the Platinum Jubilee. I, for one, can't wait to see them. All right, moving on. To finish up this video, I have two video clips to show you. One shows Catherine at a function with the Queen. One shows Meghan at a function with the Queen. Take a look at this. And now it's Finn update time. I just want to assure you all that Finn is doing well. Watch this. What are you doing, little lovey bug? Mama loves you. Mama loves you. Yes, yes. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, baby. Good boy. I am looking forward to your comments on this one. So, what do you guys think? Did Spotify really do something stupid and hand them all that money? And if they did, they must have had something in their contract that said if they didn't fulfill the contract, they could take that money back. Why are they pushing so hard to keep them? I don't get it. And what do you guys think about Jack Royston redacting his article and basically pulling the article from Newsweek, but then going on Spotify and having a talk with Christopher Bouzy? And Mr. Bouzy saying that there's not enough hate tweets from his side, from the Sugars, to make it worth his while to do a report. Leave those comments below because you know I want to read them. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future uploads. You can follow me on Twitter, on Getter. You can email me. To those who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.